If you think for a second that you could try to take a child from his mother and you're gonna walk out without a scar, you're gonna walk out with even your mobility, with your health, you're crazy.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is the part 2 video I posted previously of the sister who came online to share a story about how her ex-husband is trying to keep her child away from her, and how the husband and his family, his mom, his sister, they're trying to manipulate the child not to be happy whenever they're coming to drop the child off with her. How they were trying to manipulate the law, how they lied to the judge that she was trying to kidnap her own son and go abroad. A whole lot of things she was saying, and she had more to say. The story is long, so in this video is the part 2 of the video. So once you hear a complete story and her seeking for help. Anyway guys, let's go check it out, then we'll come back and talk more.
When your mind is at fight or flight, the logic side of your brain is not functioning. I'm trying to grab whatever I can. I'm trying to do whatever I can at that point, to get my child. And if you think for a second that you could try to take a child from his mother and you're gonna walk out without a scar, you're gonna walk out with even your mobility, with your health, you're crazy. You're crazy. Even animals. What happens to a bear when it even senses others around her cubs? They go berserk. There was a point when I was in the lobby having that emotional breakdown. My cousin was outside for a little bit, and she witnessed my ex-mother-in-law and her son having a dialogue. So she said to her son, "Give her the child. We have what we needed." She said this in Somali.
Hi, I'm Amel's cousin. I was present when everything went down. So basically what happened was I was outside just trying to figure out what's gonna happen next. Amel was in the lobby. She was crying. She was very heartbroken. So I gave her my phone so she could talk to Abdaqani, so she could calm down. I stayed outside. I asked him if he called the police. He told me the police are on their way. So I stayed outside so I could tell the police my side of the story of basically how the event went down. I was next to their car. So I look at the mom, and the mom looks at me and she says, and wallahi guys, Allah's above me. She said, we got what we needed. We are done here. Give her the child, give her Rashid, and give the girl Rashid. And wallahi guys, wallahi, I was so shocked by that because I knew walking in that this was a setup, but I just felt like this was a setup, but I just needed a confirmation in my mind that this was truly a setup. And when she said that was it. I knew. And the guy, he told his mom, he's like, "No, I'm not going to give her Rashid. Did you not hear what they said about you? They called you a witch. I'm not going to give them Rashid."
And I think because of the quickness of how everything was happened, my cousin didn't tell me this until later on, till a day later. But when she said, "Give her back the child, we got what we needed," subhanallah. What will you do in front of Allah? You plot, Allah plots better. They drove off. They go to the police station. "Oh my God, we got beat by this woman." They're bleeding. The police officers come to me. They ask me what happened. They asked me one question. They're like, "Did you bite her?" I said, "Yes. And this is why I did that." So they're like, "Okay, we're going to go make a decision and we'll come back to you." They came. I got a criminal record that day. I got 2 counts of assault.
Imagine.
I know that hurt, the counts of assault, but I was way more concerned with, where's my child? They have my child. I need my child today. They're like, "You know what? Your child right now, he's seen a lot, so he's going to stay with his dad." I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Can I get him back tomorrow?" They're like, "Yes." The next morning, I'm calling the police stations. I'm trying to see if I can get my son back. They're like, "Oh, well, your son, he went back with his dad to Calgary." how did that happen? I said, I am the primary parent. They're like, you know what? You have to go back to criminal or family court to deal with this. We no longer can get involved. And I didn't know, wallahi, the worst was yet to come. That next night, the police called me and they're like, are you home? I said, yes. This was like midnight. They're like, we have to serve you with some papers. So they come to my house and they serve me with an emergency protection order. An emergency protection order is that whoever's on that paper, you cannot come near them, you can't contact them, you have to be within 200 meters far away from them, or you go to jail. So I was kind of anticipating that their family would get an emergency protection order against me. That's whatever. I like anticipated that, if you get what I'm saying. So I look at the paper when the police bring it to me, and my son's name is like one of the first names on there. My soul, I remember, dropped. Wallahi, it dropped. I was broken just seeing that, you know. And I remember, alhamdulillah, and this is why, wallahi, I think Allah really helped me in this situation. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Alhamdulillah, I had my cousins there who like held me, but I was on the floor. I was on the floor, you know. I remember I asked the officer, I said, how does this happen? How is it today that I'm being kept away from my own child? They're like, we don't know. We never really see this, but like you could deal with this in court. So I remember like my body was in shock for weeks. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. Like you're just numb, like physically numb, you know? And I remember my cousin, like, well, may Allah protect all my cousins and everyone who assisted me this time. May Allah take any worries and stress out of your life. They, you know, those are the people you never forget. Is those people that never leave you in those moments. You know, those are the people you never forget. Is those people that never leave you in those moments. My family, may Allah protect everyone. So then, like, obviously, like, I was numb. One day, I remember I was in so much pain that I said, Ya Allah, give me relief. And then, so then I searched up a masjid that was close by. And I went to this masjid, and I had no idea. There's like a masjid right in front of my, like down the block of my house. I had no idea this masjid. Remember that dua I said, Ya Allah, please give me some sort of relief. And it was with sincerity. I went to the masjid, I prayed, and then I just got the feeling, I'm like, you know what? Let me clean the masjid. So I started cleaning the masjid. Then every day, from that day on, I started cleaning the masjid. There's lawyers calling me. There's family members calling me. People are overwhelming me, trying to figure out what's going on, how they could help. You know, the lawyers are saying, "Well, you're in hot water. Like you might not never get your child back. This is really bad for you." You know, mind you, my ex-husband, his mom, and his sister, and his dad. You know what they did? They wanted a mental health assessment on me. They asked for a mental health assessment. Never happened. They called child services on me. They kept taking my son to doctors, and I'll show you.
What?
Doctors, because my son, whenever he would go to doctors, he would start crying, like he was anxious. So they used that, taking my son to a doctor, and once my son started crying, would be like, well, he was abused by his mom. That's why he's acting like this. They went to child services. They went to every end. This man and his family were relentless in making sure that I never see my child. Alhamdulillah, I kept cleaning the masjid. Just to even have mental sanity. I stayed in the masjid, and it was like, wallahi, every time I was in the masjid, I felt like Allah removed my pain. Like He removed it, and I felt nothing. I remember feeling so content that I felt guilty. I was like, subhanAllah, how do I feel this content without having my child? But you know what Allah does? Any hardship that you go through, Allah gives you sakina if you ask for it, if you turn to Him. He gives you peace through that hardship, ease through that hardship. And I think that's what Allah did for me. And it's not I think, I know that's what Allah did for me. Mind you, the EPO, the emergency protection order, the court date was supposed to be within 2 weeks of actually being served to me. These people were trying to push it back so I could be away from my child longer and longer and longer. So finally, it was like 4 or 5 months after that we finally get to go to court for the EPO. His sister is also there. And she's sitting in front of me. She's trying to intimidate me. Mind you, him and his sister that day were at the courtroom to make sure that I don't see my son for a minimum of 1 year. And not only see, not talk, no type of communication. You know, they were there for that. They brought their lawyers and everything. But you know, you can have all the lawyers in the world. I have Allah. I have the truth on my side. And their whole mission that day was to try to prove to the judge that I was an unsafe mother for my child. That's what they were writing in especially my ex-husband. He was writing in affidavits that I was unsafe, that I was like danger to my son, I was abusive, all these things that he was just saying. I prayed 2 rak'ahs before that court. And I remember as they were trying to taunt me, him and his sister, to try to make me look like, you know, they're trying to get an emotional reaction out of me so I could look crazy in the courts again. I looked crazy before, right? So they want to do it again. My lawyer, I remember she's a Muslim lady, she said, go pray 2 rak'ahs and calm yourself and talk to your Lord. I went, I prayed 2 rak'ahs and I asked Allah, I said, Ya Allah, you know the truth, Ya Rab, you know what's in the qalb. Ya Allah, bring the truth out of their mouth, his mouth, my ex-husband. We go to the courtroom, the man gets on the stand. My lawyer asks him 3 important questions. Did Amal ever hurt her child? Was she physically abusive to her child? Was she ever threatening her child? Any emotional abuse? This man said no, no, no. I'm looking at him like, why did you pay your lawyer a couple of thousands if you're going to just tell the truth? But you know why? Wallahi, do not underestimate du'as. Du'as are answered by Allah. They're responded to by Allah. This man, I bet you he wasn't even consciously making that truth come out of his mouth. He was doing it out of the kindness of his heart. Allah made him do that. Allah made them do that. By the end of that court, alhamdulillah, I got my son back. The judge was on my side. She said that this child was deliberately taken from his mom without his mom doing anything to him. This child has to be returned to his mom. My ex-husband's sister was sitting there in distraught, like upset that my child's coming back to me. So then alhamdulillah, I got my son back. I had to do intense therapy with my son. I had to take him to a therapist because it wasn't just like the alienation for me for 5 months. What these people were saying to my child and turning him against me in that time was worse than the actual physical separation. His aunt, like I showed in the other video, if you haven't seen that video, please go see it. She was telling my son, you're never going to see your mom again. And she would say these things to my son when my son was with her alone. And you know, children, they never lie. They never lie about these things. You know, the mental alienation that they were doing on my son, because it wasn't just like the alienation for me for 5 months. What these people were saying to my child and turning him against me in that time was worse than the actual physical separation. His aunt, like I showed in the other video, if you haven't seen that video, please go see it. She was telling my son, you're never going to see your mom again. And she would say these things to my son when my son was with her alone. And you know, children, they never lie. They never lie about these things. You know, the mental alienation that they were doing on my son. And my son would come back and you know, he was telling me things like, Mommy, they told me that you got married and that you didn't want me. And wallahi, the hardest one was one day my son, he's like, out of nowhere, he said, Mommy, I was calling you and you weren't picking up. They used to give him a phone, tell him, you could call your mom, you know, you could call her. And then he thinks he's calling me, but he's not. So they were making him believe that I was not picking up his calls, that I didn't want to talk to him. Wallahi, the level of evil. The level of evil. I ask Allah for justice. Not only for me, for my son. Those things at that age with a child who's only 3, 4, 5, the things that they've been doing in the last 3 years, those things are affecting him, you know. And wallah, I feel like there's nothing I can do to protect him other than speak up. You know, subhanAllah. Anytime I talk about what's happening to him, it hurts more than what was happening to me because you're a mom. Allah Akbar. Give him justice. Allah, give me justice. Anyways, that happened. The charges against me, they were dropped. All because of du'as. And they think they did me a favor. It was a day before my charges were to be in trial. I had to wait a year. So my lawyer tells me there's no way out of this. So I started making dua. I remember 2 days before my court date, my lawyer said, you're not going on the stand. Like, we're just gonna go there and take our L, and you're gonna maybe do some time of probation, this and that, and you're gonna catch this criminal case. Like, there's no way out for you. So I prayed to Rak'ahs, and I knew in my heart, I said, this hukum is from Allah. It doesn't come from a judge. It doesn't come from a lawyer. Nobody could tell me what my fate is. If I'm not gonna ever be a nurse again, this is coming from Allah. You have to have yaqeen, like complete trust in Allah. And this was one of the times that my yaqeen was truly tested. So my lawyer said, you know what, we'll do one last ditch effort. We'll go ask your ex-husband to drop the charges. So now he was awaiting charges after he charged me, right? So now my lawyer comes up with this deal. He says, you drop hers, we'll drop yours. This guy said no. They wanted 6 months in jail for me. That's what the prosecutors and him were asking for as a sentence for me. I cried to Allah. 2 days before that, I cried to Allah. And I said, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, change their hearts. I was talking about these people. It wasn't just my ex-husband that was charging me, it was his mother too. I said, Ya Allah, change their hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just 30 seconds after I made that dua in sujood. Wallahi, it was less than 30 seconds. Wallahi. I get up, I got a call. It was my lawyer. Pick up the phone. He's like, you won't believe what just happened. Your charges are dropped. Your ex-husband and his mom said they're not coming to court. They're not coming to court. So everything is withdrawn like it never happened. Now, some people think maybe they did that for her, like kind of they felt bad. No, they didn't. They did not feel bad. That was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was nothing. When I asked Allah, Ya Allah, change their hearts. And 30 seconds after that, they got their hearts changed. But the whole year that they had the ability to make things right, when people begged and pleaded with them, they said no. I was left with nothing, you know? So subhanAllah, no one could tell me that these people did it out of the kindness of their heart. And it proves that because after that, how many other things that they did to me to try to take my child away from me again. But Allah is bigger than them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected me multiple times, and He'll continue to protect me, inshallah. Now their son is the one waiting charges. He's awaiting trial now. You see that what you do to everyone, when you do to people, it comes in full circle. And I asked him once, I remember, I said, did you not think that when that police officer called you and said you were being charged with assault with a weapon after what you did to me, the strangulation, did you not think that was Allah? And he's like, I don't know. You don't have the heart to acknowledge that. Because me, if that happened to me, imagine I went out of my way to try to ruin someone, and then my life got ruined in the process, wallahi, I would ask for forgiveness. I would stop and ask for forgiveness. But that's someone with a heart. That's someone with an open heart. So that's how they took my child away from me the first time.
So please go down in the comment section and share your thought. Love to know what you think. There was all the parts she posted. She hasn't posted any really serious update. I saw one of her in a conference. So yeah, go down in the comment section and share your thought about this entire story, what you think about this, but please keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed. Sorry guys, my microphone died, so yeah, I have to do a voiceover to finish this video. So like I was about to say was that I'm happy this sister is speaking up, and I'm happy this sister is like sharing a story. I like sharing this type of story because I feel like For the longest time, these are things that have actually been swept under the carpet, and women don't really come to talk about it. But thank God for the internet, we're actually talking about important conversation. And this has nothing to do to a specific religion. It's like, I feel like it's a general thing that happens to a whole lot of both the Christian religion, the Islam religion. And because of the religion faith, women are usually asked to keep it quiet, shoot shit, don't talk about it, pray to God and allow it to God to do. But I get it, God did his thing. Okay, God did his thing because clearly she was speaking to God and God did his thing. But also, we also have to fathom the fact that most times when we're in a relationship, and that's why when we come here, we talk about people should be very intentional who they choose to have kids with and all that, because the person you're choosing to have kids with, the person still be a good person if you decided or you guys decided that it's not working anymore. And one thing most all this type of things used to, and that's why I'm like, you just bring kids into a situation that is now messed up, they are traumatized and all that because you choose to use the kid as a weapon to get back at your partner. And this is the case for this sister. The husband is using the kids to get back to her because he knows that's the only thing he can do to get back to her. That's the only thing he will do, hold back from her, that he can trigger her, not even considering how this is affecting the kid, how the kid is being traumatized, but this, how this is going to form the kid's ideology on how the kid is being raised. Imagine a child that young is being told that your mother doesn't want you, your mother is not picking your call. How that just mess up the mentality and the structure of the child and how the child sees life and how the child navigate life. But obviously, the dad was not even thinking about that because all he was thinking about is how to get back at her for her leaving the situation and even trying to get married. Why she's making something out of herself. He doesn't have a job, he still lives with his parents and all that. And this is why I say, ladies, especially ladies, both men, I know this can happen the other way around, but I'm talking especially to the ladies, generally anyway. Be very, very intentional who you choose to do life with. Be very intentional of having kids because sometimes these kids may end up being used as a tool to get to you. Because just imagine she doesn't even have a kid with this man, how she just going to move on and flourish and all that. And then, like what I said in the part one, to think that the mother and the sister, not other women that knows exactly how it is to have a child, to nurse a child, to be taking your child away from you, are still in the plot of enabling this behavior and working with him and kind of trying to set the mom up, the sister up. Like, it's so heartening, it's so disheartening to see and to watch. But anyway, let me know your thought down in the comment section. But guys, this story just like, and this is something that I see in my society a lot of time, that kids are being used against them, especially their mothers. These men don't want the kids. The thing is that they don't want the kids, they're not ready for the kids, but they're just going to use the kids to get to you. And to think that it was something that he planned from the get-go, knowing that, oh, I'm just going to be a stay-at-home husband so that this is what I can use it. Like, just to tell you that most men, they plan things to the T. They are very intentional. This is why I campaign a lot here on this channel. Ladies, be very intentional with how you move, how you navigate, how you be with somebody who you choose to be with, how you choose to be with the person. Be very, very intentional. Then another thing I also want to point out, I am so happy that this sister in some form got some type of justice, because I think she didn't keep a lot of updates. She's not a content creator. She didn't do a lot of update, but she said things are working out. And I guess she's with her son after a lot of people chime in, calling the husband, sister, and even the mother out on social media. If you guys want me to do reaction of people's reaction to this situation, let me know. I'll get that during this week done. So just let me know if you guys want to see that. Anyway, guys, please go ahead and share your thought about this video down in the comment section. Love to know what you think about this story. Please go ahead and share your thought. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see and to even join in the conversation, because I feel like most people needs to see this. Okay, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.